Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Indy's Trusted Servant Show on INSPIREsmall.biz. Thanks to my friend Ryan Henry, who I'm going to interview here in a little bit, for hosting the Indy's Trusted Servant Show on INSPIREsmall.biz. What's Indy's Trusted Servant? Well, that's me, Danny O'Malia. I'm Indy's Trusted Servant. I do customer service training and keynote speaking about customer service. It's really all about the culture of the organization. I learned all that from the master, my late father Joe O'Malia, at O'Malia Food Markets. But even before then, when I was about 9 and 10 years old, when he owned a small grocery store in Broad Ripple, where the Vanguard Bar is now, and he lost that store. One of the lessons I learned when he came back 10 years later to successfully open O'Malia Food Markets was never, ever, ever give up. So if you're interested in my customer service training or keynoting, give me a call at 317-413-9062. What's the Indy's Trusted Servant Show on INSPIREsmall.biz? I like to describe it as lively local small biz and community talk where you can feel the pulse of Indy. And today, I'm glad to interview my host, Ryan Henry, who is the major domo of INSPIREsmall.biz, and has a lot going on in the new year that we're going to talk about. So, Ryan, it's good to have you on your show.
Hey, well, it's your show. We just give it a place to broadcast.
There you go. It's great to have you. Let's talk about Inspire Small first.
Okay.
What's new there, what's going on, and what's going to happen in the new year, and then we'll get into the other stuff, which is even more exciting.
Sure. So InspireSmall.biz is wrapping up a successful year. We have been able to focus much better on what our value proposition is to our members, and that's to teach them things related to technology that makes building and growing a business easier. And so we're really looking forward to the new year because we have inherited a long-time successful event, as well as we have several new events of our own, and we're going to be announcing some in-person workshops here in Indianapolis. So a lot of really fun things happening.
And speaking of technology, we should mention that you are a good guy to come to if somebody has a technology problem or question, correct?
Yes, I always start my elevator pitch with I help business owners who describe their tech skills with loud four-letter words.
Such as myself. Great. So what's going on new with InspireSmall.biz, or what do you want to talk about that's still going on?
Well, so right now, as this show airs, we're heading over to Refinery 46 at 2201 East 46th Street to have our preview party where we're going to announce the full 2023 calendar of events that we're hosting next year. And so that's just around the corner from here. And as soon as we wrap up this interview, it's time to hurry up and get over there.
And you told me there's already 75 plus people signed up for this event.
Yes. Eventbrite's funny with free registrations. Just because they register doesn't always mean they're going to make it. However, we've been able to successfully get registrations between 60 and 70% attendance, which is high for free admission to things.
Yep.
So we're expecting at least 50 people in the room, which is great. It's a lot of people for an event. It's certainly one of the largest events we've hosted on our own, but it's going to be a really good time. There's a full hour of networking when the doors open, and then at 4 o'clock we start our program, and we're going to talk about all kinds of stuff that's happening. And for those of you who can't jump in the car and head over to Refinery 46, we're also going to live stream that program on YouTube from the conference room. So
how do you find the live stream?
So it's going to be a link in this episode. So all you have to do is scroll down below the video and say watch the preview party presentation and click the link. It goes from this YouTube video right to the other.
There you go. I told you this guy is pretty good on technology, right?
Yes.
So what's the big announcement you want to talk about?
Well, there's several. So the first one here is that we are taking over the longtime successful event Business Spotlight for 2023. And if you're not familiar with that event, it's January through November on the second Friday of each month at 11 o'clock a.m. And everyone who registers in advance gets their contact information in the event booklet that everyone gets when they arrive.
Right.
Plus, everyone gets a chance with the microphone to tell us what their business is and who the most valuable introduction we can make to them.
And that attendance is usually well above 50, correct?
There are events that exceed 50. However, during the summer, when everyone's on vacation with their family, attendance can dip sometimes to 30. Now, our January event is traditionally a large one. Some years that has been in excess of 70.
Yep. Okay. So, how's that event structured? In other words, networking and then what?
Well, so the doors open for that event at 11 o'clock. So you get there as soon as you're able to. If you can't make it at 11, that's okay. Sometimes work gets in the way of networking.
Come later.
But yeah, at about 11:20, 11:30, we start the program, introduce the event. Jamie Hopper, a registered financial consultant with Money Concepts, he's co-hosting with us for this event. So 2 is always better than 1.
And Jamie's been on the show here.
Yes, he has.
Yes.
Excellent guy. Great member of the community, supports some causes that he cares about, as well as helping everyone plan their retirement and financial stability. So
Right.
For this event, we couldn't have asked for a better co-host to work with us on it. And so and once we introduce the program, we do expect attendees to order their own lunch, but the event is free to register for. So save your budget for getting whatever you'd like to eat for lunch, and then everyone's going to have that 60 to 90 seconds on the mic to tell us who they are and who they're looking to meet.
Great networking event. I've been going to it off and on for, 4 or 5 years. And once COVID was over and it started back up again, the attendance was very, very good compared to other networking events.
Yes, this event did an excellent job of keeping people coming as soon as it was safe to go out and do so again.
Yeah. So it's going to be January what?
13th is the 2023 kickoff. And if you want to register for the event now, you just go to www.INSPIResmall.biz/spotlight.
Okay. Just like www.small/Indy's Trusted Servant, right?
Exactly.
Exactly. So you get on INSPIREsmall.biz and you can get to a lot of things.
Yes. So we have your show archive so folks can watch the latest episode and
Right.
past episodes. But we also have a lot of videos, tutorials, and business building guides, all on topics that can help people build their business. And it's usually centered around technology because that's our expertise. However, we do have a lot of guest speakers that we invite that talk about areas outside of what we know. So earlier this year, we had a young lady come and talk about her experience of filing a trademark for her business. Now, we could have gone out and found a patent attorney who could have given us the general, this is what the law says, and no lawyer can give any one person direct legal advice without retaining that attorney first. So we thought that the best way to talk about it wasn't from the concrete legal steps of doing it, but from the actual experience of the small business owner hiring their own attorney and finding out the different types of trademark that exist out there.
Yep.
Because there's a lot more than just the name of your business as a classification. It could be for the name of products or services. It could be trademark for products produced like clothing or promotional goods. It's just, it's a nightmare if you don't know what you're doing with it.
It's pretty tricky. Having had our own business, of course, the retail grocery business, and even after you trademark your business, for instance, we decided at some point in time to create with a marketing company, a leprechaun as a mascot. Well, we had to trademark that. And we had our own sliced ham, the honey baked type ham. Ooh. We had to trademark that, and that got real tricky. So I recommend that would be a good thing for anybody who hasn't trademarked their business or some special part of their business. That would be a good place to go for advice.
Absolutely. And it should be understood that we are not attorneys and nothing on our site is constituted legal advice. We are a platform that helps give you that jumping off point. When it comes to legal matters, it is always a good idea to hire an attorney. but from the perspective that we're presenting this content is going to be closer to what your experience will be once you hire that correct attorney and go through the process.
So what are some of the other new events that you want to talk about that are coming up, or existing events that people don't know about yet for 2023?
Well, so we have both virtual and in-person networking as an option. The virtual is going to stick around because through COVID, it worked out really well with us that we didn't just have to limit to our friends in Carmel or our friends in Greenwood and our friends in Indy that could come to the events. Zoom lets us welcome new members from everywhere. So throughout the last couple of years, we've picked up a bit of a presence in Florida and California. So those events on Zoom are open to anybody, anywhere they have an internet connection. And so
how many states are you in then, you think? Roundabout.
Visitors, I think we've covered the entire country now.
Okay.
Now, we've also had some international visitors. However, the membership on our website is tied to U.S. persons only at this time, and that's just to make sure that we're doing everything by the book and we're respecting the laws in each area that we're doing business.
That could get real complicated.
Yes, it can.
Internationally, yes.
Data privacy is all over the place. Here in Indiana, it's pretty lax, but even our neighbor to the west, Illinois, has much different privacy laws than the state of Indiana does. And then California, believe it or not, has the most restrictive data privacy laws. So every time we welcome a new member into the mix, we have to make sure that we're obeying whatever the laws and regulations are of that state. And so that would be much more complicated to look at other countries as well.
Yes, it would. So are you using a lawyer for that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I always recommend, no matter what type of business you're in, it's well worth the money to hire a lawyer because, one, they know what they're doing, but two, they're also going to protect your interests a little better than just asking random people.
Or just doing it on your own, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to the event. No, we got the big event on January 9th.
January 9th. No, December 5th, today.
No, that one, the one that's coming up right now. I'm thinking ahead to the first Biz Spotlight.
That's the 13th of January.
It's the 13th of January.
And 4 days early.
And you're keeping the name Biz Spotlight.
Yes, it is still going to be Business Spotlight. It is still free for people to attend. It's still going to give everybody the chance to introduce themselves to the whole room. What we're bringing to the event is a little more comprehensive online marketing of it, because for every extra new face that we can get in the room makes it much more valuable for the longtime attendees who have always come to the events.
And I want to emphasize, for those of you who have never been to Biz Spotlight, one of the big advantages is you register early, you get your name on the list of registrants with all of your contact info, because you might hear somebody and say, well, I would like to do business with that person, but the room is, 50, 75 people. You might not get around to it, but you've got their phone number, you've got their email address, and so forth.
Yes, and you've heard their pitch. So you have that qualification of, is this someone that I want to talk to?
Yeah.
But and it's a fantastic event, because even the first-time attendee they're going to meet a whole bunch of new people.
Right.
But for the people like yourself who make it as many times as you can, there's always somebody new that you haven't met before.
Or somebody that you've been wanting to see again.
Yes, or the person who has the reputation that you're like, I got to meet this person, and that happens to be the first place you see them.
Exactly. So what else is going on? We got plenty of time. So 2023, tell us about Inspire in 2023. We've got the big event right now at 3 o'clock through 5 o'clock, right?
Yes.
And it's at Refinery
46th.
And what's the address?
2201 East 46th Street, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46205.
So if you can get there in the next hour or so, come on over,
yes.
Right? We got the Biz Spotlight coming up January 13th. It starts at 11.
Yes.
And you want to talk about where it is or where it might be? Or is it too early?
So right now we're trying to get the concrete agreement of where we're going to keep the event. So it has long time been at Pinheads on State Road 37 in Fishers. And as of right now, we're waiting on an agreement to make sure that we are going to be able to keep it there. So we don't want to jump the gun yet and tell everyone that's where to go, because there's
So when January 13th approaches, get on INSPIREsmall.biz and figure out where it is.
absolutely.
Right.
And if you were on the Business Spotlight mailing list already,
You'll tell us.
oh yeah, you've already heard from us.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So we've got those two events, and that is going to be the second Friday of the month, 11 o'clock, wherever in 2023. What else?
So we're also launching a new series of in-person workshops at Refinery 46. So our January event, and I'm sorry, I don't know the date off the top of my head right now. All of our workshops are going to be on a Tuesday morning, 10 a.m. to noon. Our January topic is crafting your elevator pitch.
Okay.
We also, on the third Thursday of each month, are introducing two events back to back. Our first one at 4 o'clock p.m. on the third Thursday of each month is our Marketing Inspiration Group. So that is a sit-down networking group. Everyone introduces themselves, and then we have a speaker on some kind of topic related to marketing for small businesses.
Marketing, okay.
And then immediately following that at 5 o'clock p.m., we have an open house every month from 5 p.m. to 6:30. And so that's just general open to anybody who wants to attend, whether or not you're a business owner. And that's to meet members of Refinery 46, which is the co-working space that we utilize, and then as well as members of INSPIREsmall.biz, as well as some new guests.
Tell us about Refinery 46 a little more.
So Refinery 46 is a co-working space that opened up in the old 7-Eleven warehouse. So it was this wonderful brick building built in the 30s or 40s.
Yeah.
Beautiful yellow brick.
A lot of grocery history there, folks.
Yes. In fact, there's a good example of trademark. With the 7-Eleven story.
You know that story.
Yes, you've told me that story.
Yeah, that's a good story.
So it was purchased by the current owner. His name is Brian. And so he did the work to fix the building up and clear out what was left behind. He actually mentioned a walk-in cooler that when they abandoned the building had dairy products in it.
Still had dairy products
and then
in
they
it.
cut the power, and it sat there for years. And he was talking about what a nightmare it was to clean it up and get it sanitized.
I can't imagine.
But he also found some really interesting pieces of grocery store history, old fixtures and racks, unsold products, things that don't exist anymore. Long distance calling cards, you remember when those were a thing?
Yeah, I sure do.
He found boxes and boxes of those in the building, old shelving and racks for different products that were sold in stores. So there was some really interesting things he found in the building. But so the building has a basement, a first and a second level. The basement is the co-working space. So general drop-in space where you can open up your computer, grab a cup of coffee, and sit there and work. There's some small conference rooms you can wander into. There's little booths if you have a Zoom meeting or want to make a phone call without disturbing the other members. They also have office space that you could lease from them, so a dedicated office with your own locking door. And then the additional levels of the building is straight up office suite space, how we would normally think of renting an office for a business getting going. Also, Black Circle Brewing is in the building.
And if I remember correctly, the last time I was there, which wasn't too long ago, because I was meeting somebody there, you go around, you leave 46th Street and go park behind the building, correct?
Yes, parking is south of the building.
Yeah.
Their parking lot has about, I think he said, 80 spaces. Now there is on-street parking there along that side street.
Yep.
You cannot park on 46th Street. That's pretty congested. Also, it's worth noting that at 46th Street and the Monon Trail is currently closed right now. So if you're coming from the west, I'd recommend going up to 49th Street, get past the Monon Trail, and then come back down to 46.
Well, probably on Keystone, right?
Well, no, on Keystone, there's no obstruction.
Oh, it's the other way.
You come up or down Keystone, then turn to head west on 46th Street, and it's just as you cross the abandoned nickel plate tracks.
Great. Okay, so what else do you want to talk about?
Oh my. Well, so we have a theme for each month next year, and those themes are going to tie all of the speakers and content that we produce in the year around a central topic. So January is National Mentoring Month. There's some really great resources out there for small business owners who are seeking a mentor. Then February is National Library Lovers Month. So I was shocked to know that libraries have more than books.
Oh, really?
And so, at least here in Indianapolis, the library does a fantastic job of all kinds of different resources. So, of course, libraries have books, movies, music, internet access, but here in Indianapolis, there's access to something called Data Axle, which used to be called Reference USA. That allows business owners to do some research and find out who the other businesses are, or even to do research on your existing clients so you can look for anomalies like, are they a homeowner? What's their average income? What kind of products do they typically purchase? And that stuff is all extremely important when developing your marketing strategy, because the better you understand who buys your product and why they buy it, the more you can tailor those campaigns to kind of knock on their pain points and say, hey, we can fix this.
And once again, I don't expect you to go through all 12 months of the year, okay? But if you go to INSPIREsmall.biz, you can find out what's going on that month, right?
Yes. So there's always a new post that goes out every Friday that shows next week's events, both our events for INSPIREsmall.biz and all of our members on the website. We also have our library, which is videos, tutorials, and business building guides.
Right.
Let's see. In addition to that, we have forums. So that allows people to ask questions about what they're working on or need help with. And we or our other members who might be experts in that particular area you need help with can communicate back and forth with you.
You mentioned off the air that your partner with the Biz Spotlight is Marty Moran, right?
No, Jamie Hopper's our
Jamie
partner.
Hopper. And we already talked about that.
Yes, and then we have two fantastic events that are planned at Launch Fishers. The first one is Friday, May 19th, 2023, Race to Support Small Business. We did that event this past year and had 65 in attendance. Our goal this year is over 150. Marty Moran comes into the story because we have hired White Hot Headshot to come to that event and capture all the action as it happens.
And that will go up on the website.
It'll go up on the website. It'll also become photographs that we use to continue to promote what's going on, so that when someone like yourself is browsing Facebook or LinkedIn, you see this picture of these great business owners having a great time at these events, and hopefully you'll want to come too.
Absolutely. So, we just got a couple minutes left.
Okay.
You want to add anything?
Yes. So the second event at Launch Fishers we have is Wednesday, October 25th, 2023. That is Tricks to Make Networking a Treat.
Okay.
This past year, we had 99 for that event. Once again, just like our Race to Support Small Business, our goal is 150 this year in the room. And so both of these events are free of charge to attend. Just like Business Spotlight, if you register in advance, we include your info in a booklet that everybody gets.
That is a huge, that's a great deal.
It is. So that way you're not wasting time trying to get a business card from everyone you want to get coffee with later.
Right.
You can spend your time being authentic and getting to know people. And if there's someone you wanted to meet that you missed, then you
can call them. Exactly.
Yeah.
You can call them.
In addition to that, we're just really looking forward to the new year. Small business is really what drives the U.S. economy.
Absolutely.
Your family owned a, not quite as small as most of our members, but O'Malley's was still a small business in comparison to the mega corporations.
We sure were.
And so every single resource that you can make available for small business is going to help them thrive. When small businesses thrive, the community thrives. So,
absolutely. The community, the neighborhood, the city, the state, the country, everything thrives.
Just remember, Amazon doesn't sponsor Little League.
That's right. That's right. And yeah, exactly. Well, Ryan, it's been a pleasure interviewing you. It's a pleasure being on INSPIREsmall.biz. Next week, my fellow Xavier University alumnus, Steve Rupp, and he's going to talk about a networking event that he runs up in Fishers. It's an outstanding networking event. The name of it escapes me right now. But then we're going to talk about networking in general, and then we're going to talk about the real estate market as well, because that's what he does. So, and he's a well-known entity. Steve Rupp next week on the Indy's Trusted Servant Show on INSPIREsmall.biz. Ryan?
Hey, Danny.
Pleasure to be part of your enterprise.
Hey, thank you.